लड़कियों की शादी होती है उसके बाद वो जिंदा थोड़ी होती हैं. They're over and done with.
Radio Nasha.
बर्बाद गुलिस्तान करने के लिए केवल एक ही उल्लू काफ़ी है. यहाँ हर शाख पर उल्लू बैठे हैं. क्या ही होगा अंजामे गुलिस्तान का. It's words and lyrics and poetry like this that stayed with me after season 1 of Rocket Boys.
I thought she was talking about us.
I thought she said हमें उल्लू बुला रही हैं आप.
Oh my God,
guys!
क्या इंट्रोडक्शन था, लेकिन clearly I can't do this interview seriously. Rocket Boys season 2 के लिए I have.
But does it have to be serious?
It
Is that a
should be
thing?
little bit.
I'm so sorry.
थोड़ा सा था. शुक्रिया जिम,
जी बिल्कुल.
सबा
कैसे?
और इशफाक, बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया मेरे शो पर आने के लिए.
जी.
That's the end of जिम की
तो
हिंदी.
हिंदी, जिम की हिंदी खत्म हो गई.
जी.
कैसे बोल लेते हो हिंदी शोज में, मुझे पहले ये बताओ.
जी.
ऐसे बोलते हैं.
नहीं मतलब मैं रट लेता हूँ ना.
रट लेते हो, बहुत अच्छा रट लेते हो. Were you good in school also?
At studies.
Rattoing?
I treat it like Shakespeare. Shakespeare is not how I speak regular English, so you just have to learn it as it is and just stick to it. That's all.
Well, I must start off with that question that every interview is starting off right now,
Wow,
which is
love it.
Congratulations on the success of season 1.
Thank you.
Oh my God. I remember at the Filmfare OTT Awards.
Well done you.
Yo! I remember you guys swept the awards and I was so happy उस दौर में because मैंने कहा यार एक ऐसा show, honestly ये nerds की कहानी है if you think about it, लेकिन इन nerds को इतना humanize कर दिया और हमें like it stayed with me for a long time. Did you expect that there would be so much love for a show about something pretty serious?
No, they were nerds, they थे, studs थे.
हाँ जी.
They weren't nerds, they were studs.
That's what they were telling themselves back then as well. They weren't nerds, they were
Tara and
studs.
Nomi Baba were totally.
बिल्कुल studs थे ना.
They had a pretty amazing lifestyle. They used to work hard, party harder,
Yeah.
and they were
They
known for
did
that.
party hard actually.
They like to combine creativity and science. They never thought they were separate entities. They really thought they were one and the same.
Correct.
And that knowing, encouraging creativity in general would only help their scientific approach. And their scientific approach of dedication and discipline would only help in their creative pursuits.
Correct.
And I think they were one interchangeable. And I don't think any subject is too boring for a story. I think every subject has the potential to be a fascinating, interesting, exciting, entertaining story. It just depends on the maker and the quality of the writing.
Correct.
So I think we had a feeling based on the writing itself that there was something special about this
That we
show.
were sitting on something big for sure. Yeah,
Correct.
we had an idea, but we didn't know how people would take it.
No.
You know, you make it, but you don't know how people are going to take it. You're like,
Correct.
we did something decently good, we think.
Yeah.
But, you know, what's going to happen is going to happen.
In fact, I thought it might be nice to revisit season 1, even though ये जो difference है season 1, season 2 का may not exist in your heads, because when you shot, you probably shot for all of it at once and then did some patchwork later. But if you go back and now look at season 1, could you pick your favorite moments that were perhaps picked up by the audience as well? Like now you turn back and say, हाँ यार वो scene actually मुझे भी बहुत अच्छा लगा था और audience ने भी notice किया.
For me, I think it was the library scene where we're like pulling out, books and he's like, what is she on? ये कर क्या रही है? और फिर मैं उसको लेके जाती हूँ, मैं बोलती हूँ तुम्हें अपने आप को कमरे में बंद करना है या इन पागलों के साथ खेलना है. And I enjoyed that a lot. That was, yeah.
Fantastic. For you?
बहुत सारे scenes थे यार. I think the last scene, I guess, the rocket launch, where we kind of huddle up. It was just, I felt it like it's three of us. We just came together and my arms around their shoulders, and it was just, and this guy kissed me out of nowhere, and it was all like.
ये plan नहीं था?
नहीं, it was a very beautiful moment, and
I couldn't resist.
Yeah, that was pretty amazing. But
It's a
I
very
think the entire show, when I see it, I guess what I'm saying is that was spectacular. But the other scene, the smaller scenes were not the kissing part, but the whole scene.
That was spectacular. Nice.
Remember? Heeb!
Heeb.
It was making us
The
laugh
magnitude
so
of it
hard.
probably was like you felt the intensity and energy most towards the end. But I think every scene was
Sorry.
special in terms of some scenes were very felt. My scenes with my dad, all my scenes with Homi actually I felt were amazing because there's something where the first scene with him, the opening scene of the show.
Yeah.
You know, when they have that
Especially in
fight.
the corridor.
Yeah, and the corridor scene. All of it, yeah, the whole journey. Again, with Regina, all the scenes. It was just I experienced a range of emotions. It's pretty amazing.
जिंदगी कितनी बदली है तुम्हारे लिए इश्वाक बताओ जब से रॉकेट बॉयज लॉन्च हुआ
यार उसके बाद से मैं back, like I've just been on the move, moving from one set to another. Because of the pandemic, you know, there was a lot of things that were in the pipeline. I haven't had the time to sit back, catch up with, you know, my Rocket Boys fam like this, and also just reflect upon like what's happened. Now it's sinking in because finally I'm done with, like, in fact I'm just in the last lap of something I'm shooting, and then I'll have a breather after pretty much after 2 years. So, but now it's this release is something where I'm like, all those things, this interaction is something that I can do like the way it's supposed to be done. Otherwise, last time it was just like, you know,
I agree.
I'm
I was
getting
just
into a
telling
beast.
Sabha, yeah, that पिछली
And,
बार जब हम बात कर रहे थे तभी
I was-
पता भी नहीं था, शो भी नहीं देखा था लोगों ने, तो ये इम्पैक्ट शायद नहीं था, तो इस बार it's
Show का
more-
impact नहीं था, plus आप, you know, you and I was in that mode that I finished this and I had to get into immediately into another thing because, you know, things had just opened up and everyone wanted to shoot at the same time. It was a very difficult time, it was a challenging time, fun, but yeah, it wasn't easy.
Wow, I just feel like, you know, I touched a raw nerve there. He's like, कितना मुश्किल होता है, तुम्हें पता है रोहिणी?
बोलना चाहिए यार, लोगों को लगता है एक्टिंग ऐसी हो जाती है, बहुत मेहनत का
Oh
काम
my
है।
God, no, congratulations.
6 महीने तक सोते नहीं है ना, तब समझ आएगा फिर।
बिल्कुल। तुम्हारी
12 hour
जिंदगी
shoot.
बहुत बदली है पिछले 1 साल में, रॉकेट बॉयज के बाद।
हाँ
So-
काफ़ी जैसे इशराक कह रहा था, एक प्रोजेक्ट के बाद एक और प्रोजेक्ट के बाद एक और no breathing space in the middle to you know, Rocket Boys, because of the pandemic, whatever you say, we lived with that script for 3 years, almost 3 years now.
wow.
May 2020 is when I got cast for it.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and one is like lived with it for a long time, so you internalize the character, you have enough time to kind of go over your script, and आप बार-बार रिहर्सल कर रहे हैं, बार-बार रीडिंग्स कर रहे हैं, टेबल रीड्स कर रहे हैं, उसके बाद कितने
And then Jim on set will put a cover over his head and refuse
and
to
yeah,
come out.
फिर वो जो मन में आएगा सेट
वो
पे
करेगा।
करेगा, उसके आप कुछ नहीं कर सकते, and thank God for that because then it keeps things fresh and interesting. और ये थिएटर का है, मैं भी थिएटर से हूँ, ये भी थिएटर से है, तो कुछ तो आइडिया है, मज़ा आता है जब when you've rehearsed enough, you can have fun on set. पर exactly this कि हमने ये ख़त्म किया और फिर पैंडेमिक ख़त्म हो गया, and उसके बाद काम, उसके बाद काम, उसके बाद काम, and like he said, 1 week, 2 weeks to prepare for a whole character, a character that's not you, and then you have to find it and wing it.
I'm so curious कि पिप्सी second season में मतलब क्या कर रही हैं?
कर क्या रही है यहाँ पे? उसकी तो
कर
शादी
क्या रही है
होगी,
पिप्सी?
उसकी तो जिंदगी खत्म हो जानी
हाँ,
चाहिए,
खत्म हो-
क्योंकि लड़कियों की शादी होती है उसके बाद वो जिंदा थोड़ी होती हैं. They're over and done with.
ये पिप्सी जिंदा है।
पिप्सी जिंदा है और अभय पन्नू अपनी औरतों को इतनी खूबसूरती से लिखते हैं, whether it's Mrinalini or Pipsi,
जी।
independent women, women with their own minds, women who are not pining after their men and waiting around for their men. I love that he thought of that and he wrote that in. And शादी होगी इसका मतलब ये नहीं कि वो मर गई, the character
शादी नहीं शहीद हो गए वो।
शहीद हो गए. The character is based on this lady called Farida Pipsi, who is Homi Bhabha's lifelong companion. So now you view Homi, his human side, through Pipsi's eyes. And I think that's the function of Pipsi's character, to kind of show the other side, not just the scientist madman,
Correct.
but also the human, the creative, the man who likes to have a drink every now and then.
Which
you
I'm
know?
so
and
happy.
who's full of love as well.
Yeah, and
So
I'm so
that's-
happy that she's back.
Yeah.
Because that scene when you
So
know.
am I. So
Yeah,
am I.
of course, of course.
So am I.
The way that I started to think about it right now is that there's no pre-plan. With other people in scenes, there's often a pre-plan. Homie has a bit of a pre-plan. What do I need out of this scene? What do I want out of this scene? What do I need to get here? How am I going to play it?
Yeah.
I think there's a version of that in almost every other scene. Whereas with Pipsi, there's no pre-plan, no
There's
game
no
plan,
agenda.
no nothing. Just whatever. I talk if I feel like talking. I don't talk if I don't feel like talking. She'll understand. She gets me. I think it's that.
I love Pipsy and Homie, man. It's like my favorite two
Amen.
characters. I love them. I love them. You know, when he says, that's the most Parsi a name can get. Like, that was the first sort of interaction. And that stayed with me. And I was like, that's so cool. I hope these guys end up together. And then, you know, you don't end up in the end of season 1.
Tragic.
And I was like, oh, bring her back. And then I see this, and I was like, yes, she's back. So thank you for coming back. Congratulations.
Trust Abhay to keep. And so
What is
kind
the
of
one
sense?
quality of Homie that Jim perhaps will keep with him for life?
He is an incredible guy. There are 100 things you can possibly take away from him. Doggedness, determination, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. But eventually the answer I come to is the quality of his curiosity in such a grand variety of things and his determination to investigate that curiosity so he knows what he's talking about. I think so much of modern day insecurity and bravado and consequently compensation and posturing comes from the fact that we are insecure because we have shallow curiosity and knowledge of most subjects.
Correct.
I think having a deep understanding of many subjects makes you a very secure, relaxed, comfortable, not taking yourself too seriously person because you can fall back on hard, cold knowledge
Correct.
when it comes down to it.
Correct. Do you think that इस शो में राइटिंग की जगह बाकी शो से ज़्यादा थोड़ी सी ज़्यादा बेहतर हो सकती
See,
है?
and I got that sense. I think you mentioned it this interview too. Right from the very beginning, like the first time I read it, I knew that it was special. But also, I think it's constant work. Abhay is someone who constantly tweaks. I mean, constantly improves his work, whether it's like on the edit table, especially on the writing table. And we all had a very strong point of view on in terms of how you'd approach the scene, and it's not devoid of. It's not an absence of the writing. If you feel a certain emotion, then you have to tweak the phrase it in a certain way. So that used to happen. So we followed it right till the end, where you can call it improvisation, but it was happening in the last lap of rehearsals, which was a day before the shoot, where I would reach out to Abhay, we would all sit up on the terrace and rehearse and then see that it's going this way. If it's going better this way, then let's tweak this line in a certain way. So it was work in progress right up till the last hour.
Fantastic. For you?
I think Abhay was very open. Firstly, it was written really well, but he was really open to suggestions, and he knew what he wanted, but that we kept working on it, and also that he was open to improvisation right towards the end. I mean, right till the end, and allowed us that liberty, as actors, to be like, okay, now I've cast you, now do your thing, So, and that was great for me. It's very satisfactory when a director puts their trust in you and says, okay, I've told you.
Do your thing.
Now, हो गया, आपने रिहर्सल कर ली.
Correct.
अब करो, जो करने के लिए मैंने तुम्हें पैसे दिए.
अब करो.
अब करो. So, and I really appreciated that.
Correct. Jim, I have a different question for you. He's like, I was
really
preparing
wanted to
for
talk
this.
about writing. Yeah.
You do want
May
to
I
go for
talk
it, of course,
briefly?
please.
So I think the foundation that he wrote was so good that it just allowed us to like springboard off it. If you're struggling with the very foundation of it and you don't quite understand what your character is doing in the scene, or it's hard to then have further ideas like different approaches to play the scene, or potential new jokes, or a different line may pop into your mind while you're going through it, just because the foundation is so good. So I'd like to say shout out to Abhay, because he worked tirelessly with me at the point which most directors would say, you are so annoying. Work on the scenes, to workshop them, to discuss them, to play them out, until we were really, 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 really happy with not just what was on the page, but also the approach to playing it.
Correct.
And sometimes we would throw scenes out how they were written because we found a different approach in the workshop, and actually simplicity turned out to be way better. And we could only have come to that complex simplicity because of the foundation that was there, that now the character could imbibe completely and say in just one line.
Beautiful.
It was lovely, a lovely, lovely process of workshopping it with him. It might be my best memories of the whole thing, because Set is different. It's hot. You're in a costume. You have makeup on. There's the pressure of doing it. Time is running out. It's different. Rehearsal, workshopping, you have the luxury of time and space to just play, get exhausted with the playing of it, and just sit and now be like, now Abe, you'll have to figure out how to write it.
Correct. Amazing.
Sorry, your other question?
My other question is that, you know, when the show dropped, I remember there was a bunch of people who were perhaps more knowledgeable about the subject than we are. You know, मतलब मुझे नहीं पता इंडिया की न्यूक्लियर कहानी क्या है. हमारे टेक्स्ट बुक में एक लाइन हुआ करती थी. इस सीजन में, do you think that, because I remember what could be the defense, right? It is a show, it needs a certain sense of dramatic motor. There would be creative liberties that you would have taken. Has that affected the making of season 2 at all, even when you were writing it, or tweak in any sort of sense?
I think there were some problems with some scientific related
Yes,
things.
yes.
And on those things, I go, come on, it's a show. The show is supposed to be entertaining. I hear what you guys are saying, but allow us a little bit of flexibility within that world. As far as the characters go, now the characters are composite characters. They're not supposed to represent any one person. They're supposed to represent a school of thought, or as Ishwak put it in the last interview, or they are supposed to express multiple forces that were present in this person's life, just not in the form of one person.
Correct.
Because you can't get invested in so many characters in one show.
Correct.
So they've been slammed into one person to say a bunch of things, or another person to say a bunch of things.
Correct.
Similarly, those characters have already been set out and they've already got arcs in the second season that was already pre-shot, and I guess we continued with them.
Well, I can't wait for season 2, really, honestly, because as I said at the start of this interview, it's truly one of my favorite shows from last year. Last year, right? It's been 2022.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
From last year. And I really look forward to season 2. Thank you so much for speaking to me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I hope it was good for you.
Radio Nasha.